Hi, welcome to the Cyprus Property Podcast. My name is Constantinos, Stylianou, and I'm the marketing manager at Altia. I studied business and marketing in the UK, and I'm a member of the Chartered Institute of Marketing and the Professional Certified Marketeer at the American Marketing Association. During my 14 years of experience, I worked for enterprises and partners in various countries and regions, inside and outside the EU, and in a diverse range of industries. Our guest star for today for Cyprus Property Podcast is the CEO of Big Orange Media, Mr. Kwant. Hello, Joe. Welcome to the Cyprus Property Podcast. Finally, I would say I'm very happy, very grateful to have you here talking about marketing. It's a marketing episode, it's a marketing topic. So, a few words about yourself, your background, what guided your decision to start your own agency back in the UK.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm always delighted to be here. You're always a fantastic host, so that's
Thank you.
Always positive for us. So my name is Joe. I am the CEO of a company called Big Orange Media. We are an integrated marketing agency, which means we have a number of different disciplines, including podcasting, as we're doing now, but also making websites, branding, lots of digital services. Real mixed bag. Lots of great clients. The team is full of professionals, so we're very lucky. We'll get into it a bit more as the podcast goes on, but we felt there was a gap in the market from our perspective, that there wasn't really anything like us in the market at that time. That was the main driver of why we started Big Orange.
So you are with headquarters in London, not just London, but your major operations, let's say, is in the UK.
Yeah.
Let's discuss a bit about the PR and marketing status, I would say, in the UK. I'm sure this question is the $1 million question, as I would say, the hot topic for all the marketeers and agency.
Yeah.
What's the marketing status in the UK, and how an agency distinguishes or complements itself from the traditional in-house marketing from a company?
Yeah, okay, that's a good question. One of the exciting things about what we do is that marketing for both in-house marketeers and marketing agencies is that it always is moving forward. Every day there's something new that is launched. Every day there's technology that has advanced. And I think that's what keeps it really fresh and really interesting from our perspective. I guess the main thing from our point of view is kind of looking at what are the trends, how can we ensure that we are getting on board with those trends, but also making a big effort to not just do something for the sake of doing it. We're very conscious about quality, and I think that there has been a huge influx of people wanting to kind of get into the marketing sector. It's seen as a very glamorous, glitzy, Google-esque, sitting around on beanbags. We don't have beanbags at Big Orange. We could get a beanbag. I don't know. We work that out. But I think that it's actually really about getting to know your clients, getting to know what they want to achieve from the campaigns and from the objectives that they have. So I think a trend really has been understanding the brief in its entirety. And I feel that we've always done that, but you'll often find that when we have conversations with other businesses, that they've had lots of individual people doing individual things, either within their organization or another external partners, for example, and that they need someone to kind of bring it all together to create something that is cohesive. In addition to that, I'd say that it's just very fast-paced. There's lots of new technology emerging, as I said. I think it's also a very collaborative environment. People want to work together. We enjoy working with others. It's all about kind of opening yourself up to how you can learn. So yeah, I would say that it just gives you this opportunity to develop and to grow. But I with any territory, there's obviously there's cultural nuances, there's political influence, there's lots of different things that happen, and we're lucky enough to kind of work across Europe and indeed across the world. Mm-hmm. Clients, of course, here in Cyprus with you guys, and in the USA, the Bahamas, and Canada. So I think that has helped us kind of having more of that global outlook and actually applying that to some of our clients in the UK as well.
So. As you said, we are facing a lot of changes, both in technology, people, new faces, new experiences joining together, both in individual companies and in the agencies. What do you think, based on your opinion, what do you think it's the future regarding the agencies?
I think that, let's talk about AI briefly and how big that subject is for lots, not just in marketing, but in all industries, but certainly for our industry, when you think about how much AI has played and continues to play a huge role in the development of kind of automations, technology, within marketing, things that would have required an individual to do those tasks. ChatGPT, writing copy, image creation, you name it. There is something for everything now. But I think that the people that feel AI is coming to take over the world and take all of our jobs and all that sort of stuff, I think that the reality is that it's a tool to be used for marketeers to make the decisions slightly easier, kind of move things forward. I genuinely feel that there will always be a desire to work with individuals, that the human communication, that kind of talking around a table about ideas and how you'd make that happen, and that spark of kind of, for want of a better phrase, marketing genius. I'm not suggesting that's what I am, but when you have a great idea and it suddenly just comes to life, I think that's something that really excites me about the work that we do. And I find that sometimes, you can only do that when you're kind of with people or you're kind of working with that environment. So I think that, from a technology point of view, there's been a lot of talk about how much AI is going to impact the work that we do, and certainly will, but I don't think it's going to eradicate the industry as potentially some may lead you to believe. I think that we really try at Big Orange to lean into technology as much as possible to get the best possible outcomes for our clients, and it is all about the relationship that we build and the value that you add to that company. It's not, if it was all faceless, then people have more choice than they've ever had before. You could go anywhere you like and kind of work with an organization that never met with you or never had conversations or didn't do anything at all. I've always felt that the relationship is something that is really valuable, and I think maybe unique now. Seemingly people since COVID don't want to meet as much as they did. Not suggesting for any other reason than we've become very comfortable with the idea of, jumping on a Google Meet or, another software, whatever.
Are we seeing any specific trends or any future trends coming from abroad, maybe from the States or from Europe? What's your opinion on new trends and technologies? Yeah, good. Again, a good question. I think that as I said earlier, that there are lots of. It's every day there seems to be something new that's happening. I feel from our point of view that this type of content, creating video podcasts, has seen a huge increase because people want to show their authenticity.
that the days of creating something that doesn't show who you are, I think has kind of gone. And I think that all of the social media channels they've really helped along with that. You know, you look at things like TikTok and Insta and, you know, any other social media channel. You have got an abundance of content from across the world at your fingertips all the time. So the standout value, how you create something that shows your true self, that shows how you're able to incorporate your business into something that's authentic, but also not make it look like something that's been created in, you know, in a hurry or in, you know, a low budget or whatever. I think now it's all about engaging content that makes an impact, that drives an emotional decision. So either I want to follow that series, or I want to buy that product, or I want to visit that website. I think that's one of the biggest things that we've seen. And it's more, it's not as long and drawn out. You know, it's kind of get to the point. This is what you do, you know, and that's often supported by a number of other campaign assets, rather than, if you think back 25, 30 years ago, these huge cinematic style TV ads, you know, like the Coca-Cola advert at Christmas time, you know, and all of the Christmas adverts. They are probably one of the only large scale TV commercial productions left, because most of these big brands are putting all of the budget into creating more of this kind of quick fire content. Definitely seen more of that.
As you said, we have seen some changes in the traditional ways of promotion or advertising. I mean, we are moving from static ads and the simple articles to more videos, like the quick videos on TikTok, the shorts in YouTube, etc. Based on your clientele, do you see any patterns or any similar requests from different companies with focusing, let's say, on specific content promotion or specific content production?
Yeah, loads actually. I think that we work with a wide range of clients from all different sectors, and we decided early on not to kind of limit our skill set just to one individual sector. So we can be creating a product video on a Monday, for example, which is to, you know, main goal is to kind of sell specific foodstuff products. And then later in the week, we might be creating a recruitment video for a large legal firm. Whilst those two businesses, those two sectors are very different, the output of what they want to do is kind of achieve more is the same. They want to kind of either sell, or they want to sell themselves to get people to come and work for them. It kind of flows back into this, you know, being authentic and being
real.
Yeah, being real. And I think that's a lot of businesses have struggled with that for such a long time, because it was never necessary before. You know, it's now become more accepted that you can kind of say things in a way that you maybe wouldn't have done so before. Not necessarily kind of, you know, being rude or brash or anything like that, but just having a normal conversation. I think that's become... It's
a change of times.
It is.
In marketing as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I, you know, certainly in my career, and I'm sure in yours, I've seen a huge shift in the last 3 or 4 years of that, where people are very happy to, you know, even on things like this, where you might stop or cough or forget your words or whatever. It's meant to show that level of kind of authenticity, and I think that is a really big piece here. So we're often approached by a client to help them craft a narrative around something. So, like I said before, they might be selling a product, they might be recruiting, they might be launching something. Part of what we do as an agency is to look at the entire brief and come up with a solution that ticks all of those boxes, rather than going, well, we can do X, Y, but not Z. You know, we will work in a way that kind of brings a lot of people together in order to deliver that solution. And I love that. We've got great relationships with, all of our clients. We're really open to collaborating. And through that journey, we get to meet so many, interesting people. I love hearing other people's stories and kind of hearing about their entrepreneurial journeys and why people have done what they've done. I genuinely think that that's a massive, massive thing that, makes me get out of bed in the morning.
So we're talking about journeys, time. Let's go back in time.
Yeah.
Let's go back in time in 2022, where our collaboration started.
Yes.
Our final, let's say, designing on business and marketing plan.
Yeah.
What were the initial considerations on the marketing side, designing the Altia project, of course, based on let's say, a competitive sector and a demanding sector of real estate worldwide and in Cyprus, I would say.
Well, let me start by saying that I've always been a big lover of Cyprus. I think that, it's a beautiful country with, huge potential. And in the time that I've been working here in the last 3 years, I've only seen that excel at such a rate. And that's exciting, as an international person coming into the country. It's exciting to kind of think about that the impact of the economy on what you're doing. From the initial conversations that we had, it was really all about, again, creating something that was very different to what was here already. One of the things that I like to see is that our competition, as in Altia's competition now, are taking some influence, perhaps, from what you've done, whereas they hadn't done so before. We really wanted to kind of set out and use custom icons and custom color palette and kind of really think about how that brand would be positioned in this marketplace. So we did a lot of research, across the whole island to kind of look at who are your main competitors, what are they currently using in terms of look and feel, and how do they engage with their audience. And so we looked at, I would probably say, 20 to 30 different brand ideas. And I mean, like a lot of different ideas. And I think you need to have a lot of that stuff on the cutting room floor before you arrive at the right decision. And I swell with pride when I'm driving down the motorway and seeing the big Altia billboards presented at me. And I think that we've been blessed in the sense that, Altia is a strong brand and has, I believe, been well accepted by the market. And certainly when you look at its market share, you are doing great things within a very short space of time. So, main considerations were, how is it going to be perceived in the market? Who are the target audience and how do we kind of, resonate with them? Creating something that has a level of, we were asking you guys to take a bit of a risk by choosing a color palette that maybe wasn't, accepted as much. The custom design on the sort of the A in the logo, and then building all of the kind of the ideals around that. So introducing all of the characters that make up the business, the consistency with all of the look and feel. So all of the brand books, all of the social media, the website design, and how you kind of incorporate all of that together. And then, working with your local partners here. We've got a great relationship with Action Global, who are a local PR and marketing agency, who deal with the sort of out of home and the other side of things. So we've also been able to kind of work with them and learn how they operate on a micro level here on the ground. And that, I think, is, again, invaluable. It's all about the people you have within your team. And I'm just glad that you guys took the risk to create something that maybe wasn't as kind of middle of the road as potentially it could have been. We've created something that you can see, I'd say, from a good 500 meters away. You can tell an Altia sign, you can tell that's an Altia property, and I love that. That's really great.
Actually, yeah, indeed, that was the plan, to create something unique and memorable, I would say, to show Altia and be Altia as an icon on the passing of the years. And yes, branding is not just colors and fonts, it's the holistic experience. I think it's an ecosystem.
Yes.
And you have mentioned many important, let's say, aspects in order to create a marketing strategy and a plan. I will dwell on one specific point that you mentioned, the target audience. Based on your opinion, how important it's to identify the target audience and how the target audience may affect, or let's say, design any marketing strategies for any company in the future?
Yeah, I think really important. We have to consider not only people living within the country, we have to consider international buyers, we have to consider those that are commercial buyers and owners of large land holdings. So it's how do you make something that is impactful and is kind of engaging to all those different audience segments. I've found that is something that's truly exciting, because what you have to do, and you talk about the ecosystem, and I totally agree, one specific marketing strategy for a specific target audience doesn't necessarily work for the other. So we have to think about, okay, looking at all of the assets in the portfolio and who we want to market those assets to, how do we create campaigns that are going to make a big impact to that audience segment, rather than going one size fits all, a broad stroke approach to creating that. And that's very exciting when you kind of think about where the international buyers are coming in from, how we can target them based on their location, how we can target them based on their preferences. But also, it's more than just being able to show them something. It's what is that content and what is going to get them to stand up and take notice of what Altia is doing, as opposed to any of your other competition in the marketplace. So I guess in conclusion, it's looking at every single strand of that campaign differently and analyzing the results, sometimes as the campaign is going, to make changes if required, but also to ensure that we're emulating the same level of success depending on where it is, rather than just kind of, you can't have a one-size-fits-all approach. It doesn't work, certainly with the type of properties that you have and the assets that you have.
So we can safely, let's say that different audience, different target audience, it means different communication, media, different means of communication, different channels.
Yeah.
And especially in the digital and in the online world. Again, your advice, your opinion on the companies out there, the content that they are producing does not fit for all the channels. It has to be different. It has to differentiate based on the channel and the promotion, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. What you put out on Instagram or Facebook shouldn't be the same as what you put out on LinkedIn. It is all about the audience, and it's really interesting, research done on where people spend most of their time from a social media point of view. LinkedIn's predominantly more B2B, obviously Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, more B2C. Certainly when you look at the demographics of the different kind of age ranges, TikTok predominantly for a much younger audience, and then kind of going up into Instagram and Facebook. So all of these things, we take them on board. But once someone has been brought in to the ecosystem, how are we bringing them to where we want them to go? So if they're on the website, we think very clearly about the user experience. What do we want them to do when they get to the website? Ultimately, what we want them to do is to get to property searches as quickly as they possibly can. But we have to do a lot to kind of get them there in the first place. People have choice, more choice than they've ever had before. So it's how do you differentiate what you do from your competition? Also, the contact points with all of the different audience segments. So as you've said, it's a kind of full marketing strategy which incorporates content emo design, paid search and social, organic content, and obviously all of the elements on the website. So we're trying as much as we can to kind of bring people in from lots of different strains, but with the common goal that we're getting them to sign up to the website for property alerts, and then we're keeping them updated based on their search preferences. Again, rather than causing someone, to be irritated by sending them a property in Paphos when they're looking for something in Famagusta, for example. That's obviously not going to be helpful for them. So we need to ensure that the type of content that we create is relevant to that audience. And that is a constant thing that we have to keep going on.
So we can say that consistency and let's say again, creating the ecosystem that fits the company will do the job for any marketing department. Closing, what do you think makes a brand successful? I know it's a generic question, but it's always nice to share our opinions on that. And what would you single out at Altia of that you consider a success, I would say?
What do I think makes a brand successful? I think that it's more, it's more than just an identity. It's one thing having a good logo, but it's also more about how you've thought before you deliver against those objectives. So really understanding what a brand wants to achieve, and then kind of leaning into that personality, that persona that brand has created as much as possible. That's what I think makes a brand and the companies really exciting, is when they make a decision, they stick to that decision, and then there's consistency across the board. People feel safe knowing that a brand is trusted, that it's run by people that know what they're doing, and equally that the people that they're going to deal with when they approach that brand for that product or service are skilled, they are intelligent, they are able to provide that service. And I think that, again, that's a really big part of that. I mean, you can create something that looks wonderful on the surface, but if it isn't backed up by a good company, good customer service, good quality products, that brand image is very quickly destroyed. It's one thing, kind of the aesthetic, but it's also the complete holistic approach of making sure that the company is able to kind of back up what they look like. In addition to that, I would say having a strong brand, definitely important, because you have to be attracted enough to, to want to work with that company. They have to either make you laugh, make you cry, kind of incite some sort of...
branding is emotions.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the best, I don't know, I keep talking about Christmas ads to you, but when you think about those big cinematic productions, in the UK especially, will have very, tear-jerky Christmas ads that will make people cry. They're designed to evoke emotion. And I think in general, if a brand can make you feel a certain way, then you've got more chance of making a decision to engage with that brand, rather than it being something passive and you don't see it and it is invisible. You're never going to get that kind of brand interaction. And to follow on from that, from your question about what do I think is special about Altia.
What do you consider a success?
I think in general, I think Altia is a great success, and I'm extremely proud of the growth of the company and our part in that. But I think it is the people. It is the people. I think the fact that you have been able to do all the things that I've said in a very short space of time, and certainly how you've managed to achieve that success compared to some of your competition, I would say, in my opinion, that that is something that shouldn't be held, in any low regard at all. I think that is, really, really impactful. I think biggest successes are just the amount of reach. We have, from a digital perspective, a huge reach now within such a short space of time, going from all of the Google Ads campaigns across many different social channels. and the introduction of this, the Cyprus Property Podcast, speaking to some really, really interesting people. Again, that wasn't a plug. Maybe there's more interesting people than me you're talking to. But I think that it's all about the individual elements of a marketing plan that make a brand successful, but that must be underpinned by good quality product, experts in their field, and ultimately just great quality in terms of customer service. And I do feel that that's what Altia provides, and we would see that firsthand, certainly handling all of the web, social, and digital content.
Totally agree with that. First of all, thank you for your comments on Altia's success. Yes, I believe indeed the different elements that put together in order to create the brand. And I agree on what you said, that Altia did not just make a presence locally. We are not only in Cyprus. There are people from all around the world that seeing our website, visiting our website, our social media channels. People are seeing the podcast that we are just made. So I guess that's a success at the end of the day, adding the human touch on all the new technology advancement. We are still humans. There is always a human behind every company. Humans are making the companies.
Yes.
So I totally agree on that. I would like to personally thank you for joining the Cyprus Property Podcast.
Thank you for having me.
It's really a pleasure having you here. I really enjoy this one. And for sure, I think the listeners and the viewers will find this helpful as well.
I hope so. Thank you for having me, Constantinos.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Ευχαριστούμε που παρακολουθήσατε το podcast μας. Μπορείτε να βρείτε περισσότερες πληροφορίες για την εταιρεία μας και περισσότερα επεισόδια από το podcast μας στην ιστοσελίδα μας και στα social media μας.